Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Long Ash Podcast. I am your host, Chris, and we are bringing back Nick to do our annual Cigar Aficionado recap episode. I know you've been seeing a lot of Nick lately. He filled in for me last week while I was out. And if you are familiar with watching the podcast, you know that we do have these reaction or recap videos. I don't want to speak for you. For me this year, it wasn't more so. I wasn't as, I guess, angry or disappointed. I think it's just, for me at this point, I'm kind of like, this is what I expect.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting ash everywhere.
No, you're good.
On my nice new Christmas clothes.
Are those new shoes too?
No, same shoes
they
and
look
pants,
nice.
but this is a nice quarter zip
Yeah.
that I got. And
You got the light blue, dark blue working out. Yeah.
Since I moved in with my girlfriend, she has started to notice the cigar smell a little more. So now that I got ash everywhere, tonight should be fun.
Yes.
No, like I wasn't. I mean, the anger is gone.
Yeah.
It's a numbing effect at this point. I mean, and everyone who's seen the list, I mean, we'll go through some of them. We don't need to go through all 25. But the minute Padron came out with a new high-end cigar, you're just like, there it is.
Yep.
That's the one. That's going to get it. Like, I think I actually burned this. Oh, that's weird.
It lasted 4 years, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it'll be fun. But it's just become so typical. And again, we have to do the disclaimer that the cigars that got rated on this list and that always get rated, I mean, they are worthy cigars. But again, same as the Oscars, they keep hitting this same. It's like, yeah, every time Tom Hanks does a movie, most likely you could probably nominate him for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Like he always. But if you gave him an Academy Award for like Bridge of Spies, and then the next year he did Mr. Rogers, and the next year he did A Man Called. It's like, all right. He's giving great performances, but it's the same. Like it's Tom Hanks doing a thing.
Yeah, another comparative thing is like every year you could give LeBron James the MVP, or not at this point Nikola Jokic. You can do that, but it's also other things go into factor. Obviously, MVP is statistical, like individual statistical numbers, but also how's your team doing? And I think with the Tom Hanks comparison, you could give him an Oscar for every performance he does, but overall is the movie good?
Yeah,
right?
and he's only won twice. I think twice. He won for Philadelphia, and he won for Forrest Gump. Wow. But he could have won for Private Ryan. Yeah. He could have won for Castaway. Yeah. He could have won for, like I said, Mr. Rogers. He could have won for
Da Vinci Code, or was it not
No, not for Da Vinci Code. Yeah. He could have won for Apollo 13.
Yeah.
He could have won for so many movies. Honestly, I would have even, and this might just be my own nostalgia, Best Supporting Actor for A League of Their Own. I thought he was tremendous in A League of Their Own.
Yeah. No, he was amazing in that.
But you don't, because it's like, all right, he's giving outstanding performance, but somebody else maybe brought something new. And if you go to the basketball analogy, it's like, all right, statistically, these two guys are very close. But this guy is the reason his team is making the playoffs. Exactly. This guy is one of three superstars on this team that on days that he's out, his team still does fine. Mm-hmm. But this guy literally brought his team to the finals.
Yes.
And I think that, it's the same thing when you talk, there's the basketball GOAT debate between Jordan and LeBron. And, I'm not a basketball historian like you are. And LeBron has all these stats. And I'm like, yeah. There's different ways to look at stats. I mean, he did play like 8 years longer, and don't forget, Jordan retired twice.
Yeah.
But there is something about Michael Jordan that he will always be the GOAT. And I was listening to someone on Instagram the other day, I don't remember who it was a clip maybe from ESPN, about, not that Kobe's overrated, but people place Kobe a little bit ahead on the GOAT list, ahead of like the Kevin Durant's or the Wilt Chamberlains, specifically because he was the most like Michael Jordan that you've ever seen. And that's the reason.
He's a carbon copy of him. Michael Jordan has even said that. Like he's stole all my moves. He played it very similar to me.
Yeah. So there's something about when you're winning a prestigious award like this, whether it's cigars or whether it's acting or sports, there is always an unspoken feeling that both fans or customers or reviewers or, critics, there's an unspoken feeling of why you are drawn to this. I think someone like Daniel Day-Lewis, there is something every time he does a performance, there's an unspoken thing of what we're watching is, it's more than just Tom Hanks doing a really good job in a movie.
Yeah.
It's another level of thing.
And he's not oversaturating himself with, I guess, being in everything.
If Michael Jordan came out once every 4 years and just averaged, for a whole season, 38 points a game, no matter if Kevin Durant or someone else has similar stats, he's every 4 years he's popping up and doing this, he gets the MVP.
Yeah.
It's just that's and I think that's how it works with Daniel Day-Lewis. He because he doesn't saturate himself, he's only taking these specific roles. And I think it's the same with cigars. There should be these unspoken, there are certain years where a cigar comes out where it's this is the one of the year. Dunbarton has it a lot. Foundation has it a lot. I think Crown Heads has it sometimes. I think Altadis had it, end of last year into this year. Where I'm smoking our number one cigar of the year, the Monte Cristo M, where you're smoking this is unlike any other Monte or any other age. There's these unspoken things that I think people naturally will gravitate to. There's always going to be dissenters, but people naturally gravitate to as this is the answer. This is the one for, again, it's unspoken. It's a natural connection you feel to that thing. Barry Bonds, there's a ton of baseball players who overall are way better athletes than Babe Ruth. Every publication will put Babe Ruth as the GOAT of baseball forever because there was an unspoken thing that even watching clips of him today, you're there's just something there. Something weird there. Wayne Gretzky, what's his name, just broke his...
Ovechkin.
Yeah. Is anyone ever going to argue about who the GOAT is, Wayne Gretzky versus Ovechkin?
No.
Is that even a... Sure, there'll be some ESPN commentator that'll be if you really think about it and you look at the stats, it's we didn't, 5 years into his career, no one had to look at Wayne Gretzky's stats to just know, this guy is it.
Yes,
he's the GOAT.
yeah.
He will forever be the GOAT. There's something just about him. The same thing with Messi. You look at goals scored and maybe, and Ronaldo also has it, but you look at Messi and no, there's just something about him. When he gets on the field, even in an older age, there's something about him that it transcends the normal, kind of examination we do of an athlete.
I think I think for sports specifically, for me, I think when you look at someone who is the greatest of all time, you obviously hear about others speaking about them, right? I think the athletes you mentioned, I would even add a Steph Curry into this mix too. They kind of put the fear of God into other athletes who have to face them. For Babe Ruth, if him pointing out to the outfield over the fences, him calling his shot essentially that. I think that would shake a pitcher.
Yeah, and people want to get he was facing whatever. I mean, listen, a lot of the pitchers from that era, the Cy Young, the guys who still hold the record, he was facing them. Batters have gotten a lot better. They're facing higher velocity, and yet still only 2-3 people, or 4, I guess a total of 5. 6 now with Raleigh after this year. So it's Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Roger Maris, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, and Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
So in 100 years, 6 other people have hit 60 home runs in a season. And by the way, with an extra 10 games. And the DH, where you don't have to worry about going to play. You can sit in a batting cage all day and take 1,000 swings a day.
Yeah.
The bats are different and they're better, and ballparks have been pulled. Everything is geared towards you hitting home runs. So again, there's an unspoken thing about him.
Yes.
You know, and you could do the same with Jordan in an era where defense was king and they were knocking the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
You can
hand check. You can, as a defender, you can control where the offensive player is going. Now you can't touch him.
So there's you know, things evolve and change, but there's always an unspoken. And when it comes to the aficionado list, I feel like they utilize that feeling, but only towards certain brands.
Mm-hmm.
Padron Fuente, for example, like, oh, there's the new Padron out. Regardless of it, like, I smoked the 60th. It was phenomenal. We didn't add it to our list because it's very limited, you know, that kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is that when they were doing the top 10 and they had done the first 9 and then tomorrow's a day, every single person in the world knew it was going to be the newest Padron because
it's process of elimination when it comes to this list.
There shouldn't be stats about this that can accurately help predict the next year. Like, each year should be a clean slate. Like, you can see how many actors have won Oscars, but there's no way to predict that they're going to be nominated and win next year.
No.
But how come every single year I can tell you a Padron and a Fuente are going to be in the top 5 cigars of the year? Every single year.
Specifically with aficionado, you just know what their trends are. If you look at any other, you know, business or publication that does these top lists, Dojo, Cigar Snob, Coop, you don't, like, I think I'm more interested in them because you don't know what, like, the My Father Blue was the #1 cigar for Cigar Snob magazine. This was on our list as well. You didn't, unless if you're really watching every single thing they do, and maybe they'll hint to, like, what they really like. And even our list, like, we never really hinted that Monty M was going to be the #1 until we did the podcast.
Do you know which My Father got in the top 25 for aficionado? La Aroma de Cuba Robusto, a 15-year-old, like a cigar that I was smoking for $5. By the way, excellent. Connecticut broadleaf, like, excellent cigar. A cigar I've been smoking since I worked in the store. That's what got on. Not the brand new My Father Blue that is really a game changer for that company, a game changer for the industry, a legendary Nicaraguan manufacturer moving into a facility in Honduras and doing a Honduran-style blend and having it come out that good. Again, that's something that there's a natural calling to, like, hey, we should discuss this. This should be a big topic for this year. And besides, you know, it was good, too. It was very, very good. So there's a natural inclination for a lot of people, like, hey, this should be recognized. No. The biggest media participant in this industry, just not even gonna bother.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's become laughable for me anyway at this point because of just the predictability of the list. I remember when they were doing like 10 through 8 and then 7 through 5 and then
let's go through the 10.
It was kind of like around the office I was like, well, yeah, this has to be #1, and we were making kind of jokes about it, but when it ended up happening we were like shocked but not, like, surprised but not shocked.
We'll go each one really quick. So 25, Aladino, 85 anniversary. Aladino's tremendous. Good on them.
Yes.
24, La Aurora, Family Creed, Series Fuerte, Sol Robusto. Cool. Bigger brand, but, you know, a more limited. 23, La Aroma de Cuba, Robusto. Mm-hmm. Why? Again, no disrespect to the cigar. Tremendous cigar. I'm going to say that because I don't want any of the vendors to, like...
No, I know, of course. We're not... Yeah, it's not a disrespect to the cigar. It's just... Right. It's falling under what we've been saying for years is, like, you're picking cigars that have been established already.
Right.
When I think some of these lists should kind of gear towards things that have come out. Man, I'll give you at least the last 4 years. And you don't see that.
And also, it's like we try to put a criteria together of anything that's, like, super duper limited. Even if we really liked it, we try not to mention because, like, you know, it's easier to make a very good one-off thing. But, like, we had the Foundation 10th anniversary, which will be somewhat consistent. It's not going to be like a one and done, I don't think. But number 22 on here is the Olmec Maduro. Again, tremendous cigar. I think it was in our top 3. It might have been our number 1 when Olmec came out.
Yes.
I think the 10th Anniversary Foundation was better, to be honest. And I think that he did put an extra special layer into that cigar.
It's a cigar to commemorate 10 years, you know, like that. I think that was perfect.
He's had three brands come out since the Olmec that have been tremendous brands. Why are you just throwing him a bone on Olmec? You know. Then you have the CLE Maduro, great, good for Christian. One-off Black Toro from Illusione, which is a weird. Like I love, you know, I'm a big Illusione guy.
Yeah, but
like the one-off is not necessarily something that he's super like. It's like it definitely is much more expensive offering. But okay, then you have a Cuban Sancho Panza. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Oliva Serie V Milanio Maduro.
Surprised.
I love Oliva.
Surprised that wasn't in the top 5.
I really do. Like, but come on. Like another Oliva V.
Every year.
Come on.
Every year.
Viaje. You're going to put Viaje on this fucking list.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Are you kidding me? Like, no disrespect to Andre and how he wants to run his business, but like he makes 6 boxes of a thing every other year. Like it's so inconsistent in terms of the manufacturing and the shipping.
He's
and
the Daniel Day-Lewis of cigars.
He's Daniel Day-Lewis. He shows up every 3 years with like a weird thing.
Someone asked me if I ever tried a Viaje. I was like, no, because I don't. There's no one has them in their stash. Right? I'm like, I've never really even tried it because I don't know if they produce a lot of cigars.
I view Viaje as boutique for boutique's sake. Like he is. It's so hard to. All the things that companies like Foundation or like what Crown Heads did last year, like, hey, we're big enough now that we want to organize this in a better way.
Do they do the one, the Farmer Bill, the hatchet?
The Farmer Bill's hatchet, and then but like some years it's that.
So I've had that
then
one,
it's the Farmer's Bill hatchet zombie. Like, you know, I do like the zombie and the shotgun series, but again, he's changing it all the time.
Yeah.
It's way too hard. Gellis family cigars. All right, you want to give Kyle, you know, sure. I think that there's the Crocodilo that warped it. I think that there's better, more consistent, more regular releases from him that warrant on here. Davidoff Millennium, 20-year-old cigar. 20 fucking years old.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, I just smoked the Royale the other day. We got some, which is like their super expensive, like Salomon. Life-changing cigar. Nowhere to be found on here. And again, there's obviously no rules about if it's too limited or not.
No.
But Davidoff Millennium, I love the Davidoff Millennium. Davidoff Millennium is a tremendous cigar. It was, I think, a game changer for Davidoff 15 years ago. They have come miles since then and done a lot of different things and really changed even some of their blending style. You're going to...
Just...
The Millennium? Aging Room, Quattro Nicaragua, Concerto. I think the La Boheme was an exceptional cigar from Aging Room this year. I don't know if it's on here. It might be on here later. I didn't memorize the list, but
I don't think it is.
I would have liked, and I'm sure Raphael would have liked to see his brand new baby kind of on there. La Flor Dominicana, 30 years chisel. Again, love the chisel, love the floor. I haven't been entirely making waves of new releases of late, but for general, this is disappointing. I think the Macanudo Emissary is a really cool line that they've added to Macanudo to give it a little something extra.
Yeah, I like the story
special,
behind it and everything, yeah.
But how you don't put the Cohiba Rubicon or the La Gloria Gloriosos for how good those brands are, how well they're selling and their price point, all that together, truly exceptional from General, but you just...
Especially the Rubicon.
Yeah, I feel like they just put a bunch of General brands in a hat and this is the one they picked. Liga T52, out of all the Drew Estate stuff, first of all, I think the H99 is probably their best.
Yeah.
And I know they don't really want to do infused or flavor or whatever they want to call it. I think Deadwood Dominicana.
That was a surprising one.
Deadwood
honestly.
Dominicana
That was
for what that's going to do for their business, for that entire segment of the industry, and how good the cigar. It's the best mild cigar that Drew Estate has ever released. Blows out Chateau Real.
Yep.
I think it's better than the Undercrown Shade. In terms of a Connecticut wrap cigar, I think it's the best one they've ever done. And for something that has a little bit of sweetness to it, I think any premium cigar smoker would love that cigar. Why are you giving it to T52? Again, an over 10-year-old cigar that hasn't changed.
It's lazy. That's what it comes down to. It seems very lazy.
Ferio Tego Timeless Supreme 650. Just did a show on Dojo with Michael Herklotz. All the new brands that Ferio Tego has released, you're going to go with one of the ones that they brought over. Now, it still was It was Michael's project when he was at Nat Sherman. I'm like, no elegancia or generosa. Like, actually, like, business-altering brands that have done very well, bring something unique into this more, like, wine, like, yearly reserve thing. No, the Timeless.
Those two lines you just mentioned landed in top fives when they first came out on various lists.
No,
and you're just
Timeless.
kind of overshadowing.
Chris, Timeless. It's got to be the Timeless. It's got to be the 10-year-old one from Nat Sherman. That's what we have to put on this list. Angel Share.
Shocker.
Opus. Okay. Again, I actually prefer the Angel Share over the regular Opus. I feel like it smokes like an aged Opus does. But at least do like one of their crazy newer one, like a 40th anniversary, like one of the crazy ones they're doing. Angel Share, again, 10 years old. Diplomaticos, unless you're a total Cuban nerd, you never even heard of that
I've
brand.
never heard of it, no.
Nasser the Goat by AJ. I mean, I think those are the same guys that do the El Pulpo and those, but okay. Still no, I haven't seen an AJ name brand yet. Still waiting on that. Rocky Patel Emerald kind of makes sense. Like, sure, it's a more recent one. It's more representative.
Came out last year, right?
I think it came out last year. More representative of like current Rocky Patel instead of just putting the edge on here. So I'll give him that. Trinidad Espiritu number 3.
At 5.
Excellent cigar. Out of the fucking crazy awesome brands that Altadis has released in the past 5 years, that's what you pick. La Boheme, Monte Cristo M, Romeo 150th, Monte Cristo 90th. Yeah. The Trinidad number 3?
Hell, even the first two of Trinidad.
Yeah, at least they were like, this was a very great cigar, but it was the third in a series of 3.
They redefined the Trinidad brand.
Yeah.
Trinidad has a lot of stuff coming out, with I think the Trinidad Miami and their collaboration with Tommy Bahama. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting choice. Like, and like you just listed 4 or 5 different lines that have come out in the last 2 or 3 years.
By the way, all of them on our list this year. Like those 3 on our list, like, and we try not to show, like we go out of our way to try not to show Altadis favoritism, but even we were like, no, these 3 were top tier cigars, and the stories that they are telling, and the stories that they're gonna tell in terms of where this puts Altadis at a very telling time, I think are very compelling, and the blends were just tremendous. But no, Trinidad number 3, great. Cuesta Rey, my dad smoked these in the 80s. Again, I love Cuesta Rey, love J.C. Newman. None of the stuff coming out of Tampa, none of their newer stuff coming out of Tampa you wanna talk about? No? Cuesta Rey, the Fuentes made for them for the past 60 years. That's number 4 of the year? Okay. Tatuaje Black Petite.
No, I remember. Go ahead, yeah.
How, after smoking it and thinking I was going to be disappointed, how do you not put this year's pork tenderloin on this fucking list? The only reason we didn't, and I actually had it on the list, but there was no inventory. It was totally gone. But for a publication that doesn't care about inventory or limiteds or not,
because not a lot of people are going to be able to get access to these Cubans, right?
The way that Pete made the pork tenderloin this year, that it was just as good as I've always remembered it from 8 years ago. And he absolutely nailed it. And the ratings that it got. The Tatuaje Black Petite, Tatuaje Black, it was his oldest line.
Yeah. I remember saying that to you. I was like, oh, Tatuaje at number 3. And you basically were like, well, it was on their list last year. Yeah, and it's their oldest line.
The Tatuaje Black is like the second or third oldest line behind like the original like Miami. Like, I don't like it's flat. Like, especially when it's one thing if like that a company maybe hasn't done something in a couple of years. whatever. But like it's all the like when you look at a Fuente or an Oliva where they haven't really had major new ones, major new like big core lines in a while, and you reach back on the bench, I think that has its own set of problems. But when a company is actually actively creating new high level brands that accomplish something tremendous, and you're still like, yeah, but we prefer the one you released 20 years ago. That's the one for us.
Yeah.
Just a sham. A Cohiba that's going to cost you probably I'm actually going to click on this because I'm curious as to the MSRP. A $75 Cohiba that no one reading this will probably ever smoke. No. Ever. That's your number. Out of all the things this year, number 2 was a $75 Cohiba that you will never, ever smoke. Okay. And then the Padron 60th anniversary. Good luck finding them anywhere. Yeah. I know we sold out in like a few minutes, like when the ones we got. Good luck finding this cigar.
Another $75 cigar.
$75. Now, how much should price play into it? That there's a discussion there. I will say there's a discussion for how much price should be playing into your rating because
number 3, Tatuaje, the price is $8.50. So how are your top 2 cigars cost $75 and number 3?
And they say they do it by like they do a blind testing all year, and then at the end of the year they see like I think we mentioned this last year. I'm not going to say I have like a totally refined palate. I know what's good. I know what I like. I can tell you if a cigar is good or not, whether I like that blend. I can tell you if it's well constructed, if the flavors are working towards what they should be working towards. But I'm not one who can very easily, I can guess tobaccos if they're apparent enough, broadleafs or certain kinds of Corojo.
I'm still learning.
Connecticut's obviously. But I can tell you that if I was blind smoking a Padron, I'm going to fucking know it's a Padron.
Why is that?
Dude.
You just know, right?
You just know. Padron, yeah. You know a Padron. First of all, 99% of them are all box pressed, and they have a very specific box press that they do. This one wasn't. The 60th wasn't. But you can tell a Padron. So you're telling me that every year when they do these blind tastings, like, oh, dude, it was totally random. It's like, oh, yeah, you didn't fucking know? I would know, and I'm an idiot. It's just, again, it's become such a sham, and it's a shame. Again, I think the biggest shame is for the cigars that get rated because they turned their comments off at one point this year. Because everyone just rags on this list. It has nowhere near the impact. But if you just did 1 year where you were objective, just 1 year, and if you want to make it people who are more involved in the Cigar Aficionado, or if you want to make it still like these companies because of whatever, and you don't like Steve Saka, whatever. If you want to still do that, at least from what those guys are doing, at least choose relevant ones that fit the criteria. I'm not saying it has to be the brand new thing, because sometimes you release a brand new thing and it's not as good as your old thing. Like, that does happen.
Yes, that happens.
But for them to keep doing this, like, it's become a joke, and they don't seem to care.
No. When you're them, their status... Why would you? I think this might be a weird comparison, but it's very hard to see when anyone is making millions and billions of dollars to have any sort of sense of themselves, or even not really empathy doesn't play into it, but sense of self, right? They don't give a shit about the everyday smoker. You look at that list, and to me, I can make assumptions as to who that list is made for. It's not made for you and I.
No.
It's not made for people who enjoy trying a lot of different things. It is for people who are probably 10 to 15 years older than us, and who had a Cuban once or twice in their life and now consider themselves a connoisseur. It's not that list. That list is not for us, right?
These are people who have not won a cigar of the year, and when I say that, sometimes maybe a blend that they did received the accolades, but they didn't. No AJ Fernandez name brand.
Are you serious?
has ever received number one. No, he did the Quattro Nicaragua.
No. He's
no
a part
AJ
of
Fernandez name brand.
Oh,
no Rocky Patel. Rocky has never won Cigar of the Year.
I'm kind of I don't know which one I'm more shocked
Nick
by.
Melillo, Steve Saka, Dion, the master blenders of this generation, and really of the next one, Pete Johnson, never received number one Cigar of the Year.
So how do you think they feel when they see their cigars on this list? Like, I'm sure you're happy, right?
I think you're happy to a degree, but I think it's starting to be diminishing returns. I do think that the number one slot is really the only one where you're going to see a bump in sales. Yeah. And guess what? You just gave it to a company that made 1,000 boxes of this and they're already sold out.
Yeah.
So effectively, this list does nothing. Maybe out of the, however, the 30 million cigar smokers in this country, maybe a couple of thousand will buy one box of something because they saw it on this list. It used to be 30 or 40,000 just for like the top three slot. People, like the list came out. If you were number three, you can sell another 5,000 or 6,000 boxes at number three. Now, if you're number one, I mean, that's already gone. But maybe someone's in a store and they see the Olmec on a shelf and they're like, what is that? They Google it and they see, oh, it was on this top 25 cigars of this year list. Okay. Maybe it still does that. But dude, I mean, we used to have to do all hands on deck for like the day after the list came out because sales would start flowing in on this stuff.
Yeah, I remember
little Florida Dominicana, the bull, the Andalusian bull.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Quattro Nicaragua. We sold like 1,000 boxes in like an hour.
I was going to say, maybe my timeline is wrong, but I started early February of 2019, and I remember former employees who are no longer here were saying, like, what do you think is going to be number one on CA's list? And it ended up being released that it was the Quattro Nicaragua, and how everyone was kind of like, all right, we got to make sure we have it in stock. Like, that was one of my first experiences here. Now, just to play comparison, people have asked us about, well, are you going to be making samplers of your top 25 because we have in the past and whatnot. People are asking. It's not a lot of people, but people are asking through social media, like, are you making it? Are you making the sampler? So that means that they're interested about it. Maybe instead of them buying one box of the Monty M or something like that, they get to buy a sampler and you get to try the different list. But I think with Aficionado, like I said, I'm going to be here 7 years. Maybe I'm just kind of seeing people agree with us when we say these things about them and just how the list, I don't know. After doing a list for the past 4 or 5 years, how their list is, I hate to say it, it just seems just like a joke because I don't want to say because I'm not taking it seriously, others aren't. But I think if you are really in the business and an inkling about cigars, whether it's like you mentioned about your flavor profile or tobaccos or like that, that list is not for everyone. And I know I try to tell myself with certain things, specifically like film stuff, that lists and awards don't mean much, but at the same time, it'd be nice to be recognized. So I don't know how certain people feel about, we did get number 3 or number 22 or number 15, but how fair is it when you're going up against cigars that were made when you first started here?
If you're a Nick Melillo or any of these guys and you're going into this, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it.
So is it better or worse?
I don't know.
Better or worse that you're on the list at all?
But if you're not Cuban, Padron, Fuente, Oliva, or EPC, who I didn't even see an EPC on the list this year at all. No. If you're not you're not going to get it. It's not going to happen. Meanwhile, over in Dojo World, they haven't done the full list yet, but they're at I think they're up to number 7 or 8. They've done 20 through 8. So they have Viva La Vida Connecticut at number 20, Epernay from Illusione, Gold Star number 18, Patina. They have some brands that a lot of people don't even know about. They also have the Quattro Nicaragua on here. They also have the Cohiba Series M Reserva. They have the Enclave by Eladio Diaz, which was a really cool project. Fine and Rare by Alec and Bradley. The Paustani, I mean, really cool things coming out with them.
Yeah.
The Warhead from Espinosa. The Escurio 10th anniversary from Davidoff. Oh, wow. A Davidoff from the past fucking decade. What a surprise. Sobremesa Solita Red, which I think is going to get a lot of talking because I also think it just won Dojo's open award, like people voting.
Okay, all right.
And then the Corto Maduro from excuse me, I think it's from Warped. Cigars that came out just about in the past year, relevant to their companies, relevant to the industry. Like, I don't know. I don't. Again, I'm not angry. I don't want to rant and rave anymore. I have zero expectations. I feel bad for the companies on this list because, hey, I think you guys can all be represented better. I think there's a better representation for all of you. All the hard work that goes into these brands to try to get that number one spot, and this is how they play it. And they're seeing the results of it. I mean, it's gone from watching like The Sopranos, where you're paying attention for like the experience and like, hey, this is going to give me something, to watching reality TV, where everyone looks at it now for the joke. And they're playing right into it. I am honestly, the most shocking thing is that how they haven't like, even behind the scenes been like, hey guys, we can't make it a Padron this year. Like, let's make it, give 10 through 2 to like let's actually surprise them this year with them.
Yeah.
No, they just don't. And it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
This is all assumption, obviously. They don't need to, because there's going to be a minority of people that look at this list and be like, this is it. This is the gold standard. This is the list of lists. I don't have to pay attention to any other lists that came out this year. This is it. I'm going to go out and try and find these cigars on here, because most of that, I probably would say a little less than a quarter of them are Cuban. And there's always this allure about Cuban cigars. And I've said it in the past. I personally am not a fan of Cuban cigars. Strictly, like, their construction it's never been top notch to me, and that doesn't mean that's every Cuban, but the Cubans I've smoked, very underwhelming. But there is this prestige about it, right? And I think that they play a part into that. You know
what? I just had a great idea, and this is what we're going to do next year, or this year technically. We're going to treat this more like MVP and more like the Academy. We're going to reach out to all of our major vendors, and we're going to be like, by November 10th, submit 3 cigars that you want us to consider for the top 25 award, for our top 25 list. And we can give them some stipulations, like it has to be in the past 5 years, because some companies, like, Nick doesn't do a whole new core line every year. It's going to be from the past 5 years, so we can submit up to 3 cigars.
Price shouldn't really be a factor.
No, it doesn't. Listen, as long as we're selling it, submit your list to us of what you think. Because honestly, they're going to pick.
That's a way to be interactive.
They're going to pick the things that like we're going to pick anyway. It's not like it's not like Eric Espinosa isn't going to give us 3 newer cigars. We're like, nah, I want your old, Murcielago from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be the things we would have picked anyway, because we try to keep it more relevant. But we're going to have an open thing with them. Submit the 3 cigars you want considered, and then we'll pay attention to those, and we'll smoke them. We'll send it out to 20 different vendors. So even a small guy gets a chance. Like maybe like a black someone that traditionally we don't get to pay a lot of attention to. Yeah. We'll get submit 3 cigars. You don't have to send us the cigars. As long as we sell them, we can try them on our own. But we'll start doing that. Maybe after the trade show. Like, hey, start submitting your 3 cigars. And as long as we get it by beginning of November, and then that's how we'll do it. We'll make it more, because otherwise, again, it doesn't really change how we do the list, because these are the cigars we were going to pick anyway. It probably actually opens our horizons up a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
But it keeps it relevant, And listen, if they come back and they're like, hey, we really like, our favorite cigar is still this Aganorsa from 4 years ago. This is what we want. Okay, Sure. If that's the one that you want, I guarantee that out of all the stuff Rafael Nadal did this year, or the past, year and a half, I'm sure he had higher priority ones than Trinidad number 3.
Yeah, no, of course.
That he would have wanted considered for this.
for sure. Yeah. He had a part in the Monty 90th. I know it came out a little bit later. But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it maybe, I'm sure people will disagree with this point. I think for these lists, I think it's your job as a publication, let's say, or like a
media outlet.
A media outlet to kind of, you want to shine light on cigars that maybe the mass doesn't really know. That's my problem with like the Oscars. I think you kind of know what movies are going to be nominated.
Yeah, but I will say recently, sometimes they go the opposite way, and like a movie that like no one's fucking heard of,
like Hamnet,
yeah,
Hamnet won a few awards, but I hear that's like one of the best performances in acting this year. So yes, there are certain things that you are like. Once I saw Marty Supreme, I was like, before I even watched, I was like, yeah, I know this is going to be nominated because of the goddamn promotions Timothée Chalamet was doing, him being in it being a Safdie movie, because I think Uncut Gems kind of got screwed.
Yeah, but then Sinners got screwed this year.
Sinners got screwed at the Golden Globes for sure. But I'm not surprised by that. I'm not. Like, so I think it's their job to kind of educate or show people like, hey, this is the best movies that came out in 2025. My movie taste and my wife's movie taste are so vastly different. She'll show me something that maybe I've never seen, which is highly unlikely, or I'll introduce her to something and she'll be like, I never would have watched that if I wasn't with you. And I think that's what cigars need to do. I think if a lot of people haven't heard of HVC, well then, it's like the Suge Knight. You want to produce or open your videos? Come to Death Row.
Yeah.
No, but it's serious. Like, you want to know about certain brands that we like, that we've interviewed them in the past, and the point you made about the timeless Ferio Tego. Like, you're gonna overlook the brands he did when he left Nat Sherman and created Ferio Tego and created those two specifically. I think we need more publications to kind of spotlight some brands that may not be as popular in the masses. And I think we have at JR, we can do that because of how our name is. Yeah. I'm not saying like, oh, we're the best, but like we're a pretty huge online retail company where we should have everything, and we can kind of say like, hey, if you like a mellow or medium bodied or something that's going to take you 70 to 80 minutes, like that's what we're here to educate, versus I look at an aficionado and it's like, yeah, we're going to put on what we want to put on because sort of like it's an FU in my opinion. And we're only going to really showcase and highlight the brands that we think are worthy versus what's the best that year.
Right. No, I completely agree. And I'm excited to see Half Wheel's list and their consensus. I'm excited to see the rest of Dojo. These are the guys I pay attention to.
Yes.
And I think these are the ones Dojo, Coop, Half Wheel, Cigar Snob, and us. I think if you want to get an actual look into what the industry, like the actual experts are saying, like, hey, these are the cigars that really rose above this year, I think those are the lists you pay attention to. This is, I mean, it's not even for commercial reasons because it doesn't even matter anymore, but it's just really a shame. Again, we'll see next year. Again, maybe there's some shakeup. Maybe they finally realize that it's time. I doubt it, but we shall see. But that's all I got for it.
No, appreciate you coming on
to do
our
anytime.
Annual cigar list. So thank you guys again for watching another episode of Long Ash Podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.
Keep it lit.
Keep it lit.
You're supposed to say it.
I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know how you forgot.